Okay, going over the questions from the worksheet from 7.1. These are proportions, so we can cross multiply. So we're going to get, when we cross multiply, it'd be 5 times 6, so that's going to be 30, is equal to, now some of you are probably going to want to write this first, x plus 5 times x minus 2, so that we know that means we have to distribute, or FOIL if you want to call it that. X times x would be x squared, x times negative 2 would be negative 2x. Then I have 5 times x, so that's 5x, so I'd have a total of 3 x's, and then 5 times negative 2 gives me negative 10. Okay, so this x squared tells me I need a factor, so I need this to be a 0. So I'm going to get 0 here. I'll have x squared plus 3x. Now, to make that 0, I had to subtract 30, so I'll bring my negative 30 over here with this negative 10, so give me negative 40. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply together and give me negative 40, and apt to give me 3. So hopefully you can see if those are 8 and 5. So it'd be x plus 8 and be x minus 5. X times x gives me x squared. X times negative 5 gives me negative 5x. 8 times x gives me 8x. Add those together, I get positive 3x, and then 5 times, or negative 5 times 8 gives me negative 40. These two things will be multiplied together, so their product is 0, so x plus 8 is equal to 0, and x minus 5 is equal to 0. So here we get x to be negative 8, and here we get x to be 5. Now, what we do is we want to check those. So if x is 5, this gives me 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 over 5 is that the same thing as 6 over 5 minus 2, which is 3. Is 10 divided by 5? That's 2. Is 6 divided by 3, 2? So that's true. So 5 is an answer. Try negative 8. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3, so we get negative 3/5. 6 over, now it'd be negative 8 minus 2 would be negative 10. That reduces to negative 3/5. Or you could do it this way, is that product, which is 30, the same as that one, which is 30. And that tells you those are both the right answer. So if we go through the rest of these, that's kind of the practice, the process. So 4 times 11 is 44. M times m would be m squared. I'll have a 3m and a negative 4m, so it'd be negative 1m as a sum, and then negative 12. Subtract 44. So I get 0 is equal to m squared minus m minus, what's that, 56. Okay, so that's going to be 0 equals m. So with that 7 and 8, so it'd be negative 8 and positive 7. So then I get 0 equals m minus 8 and 0 equals m plus 7. So m is 8 and 7. Negative 7, sorry. 8 and negative 7. You can check those if you like. I'm going to kind of save a little bit of time and not do that, but yeah. 25. So now it's 2 times 3 would be 6. P times p is p squared. I'd have 4 times p is 4p. 5 times p is 5p, so it's going to give me 9 p's. And then 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract 6 from both sides. P squared plus 9p plus 14 then. So that's 2 and 7. They're going to multiply together, give me 14, add to give me 9. So I get p plus 2, p plus 7. So p equals negative 2, and p equals negative 7. 27. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Let's do this work up here. Negative 9. N times n, again, n squared. N times negative 2 is negative 2n. 4 times n is 4n, so it's going to be a positive 2n when I add those together. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. I'll add 9 to both sides. N squared plus 2n plus 9 give me plus 1. Now, two numbers that multiply together give me 1, and apt to give me 2 are 1 and 1. So n plus 1, n plus 1. And this happens from time to time when you get duplicate answers. So n equals -1 and n equals -1. If I plug in -1 here, we get 3 over 3. Plug in -1 here, I get -3 over -3. Those are equivalent. 29. We'll have 15. 3 times 5. X times x is x squared. I have 4x and 2x, so that's 6 x's. And then 4 times 2 is 8. So 0 is equal to x squared plus 6x. Subtract that should give me -7. So now I'm looking at x minus 1 and x plus 7. So solving both those, x will equal 1 and x will equal -7. Number 22, 4 times 5 is 20. X minus 3 times x plus 5 is x squared plus 2x minus 15. Again, I'm just doing this, just multiplying those. I'm distributing those, factor or foiling them. X times x is x squared, -3x and a positive 5x, and then obviously -15. Subtract 20, 0 is equal to x squared plus 2x minus 35. So then we're looking at -5 and positive 7, x minus 5, x plus 7. So it's equal to 0. X will end up being 5, x will equal -7, -7. Number 24, 8 times 4 is 32. Again, FOIL these two. So we get x squared, -5x, so -6x, and then plus 5. Subtract 32 from both sides. I'll get x squared minus 6x. I'll be what? Minus 27. So that's going to be what? X minus 9, x plus 3. X will be 9 and -3. Uh, 26, so we've got 50 is equal to n squared, be 1n, so minus 3n minus 4. So 0 is equal to n squared minus 3n minus 54. Just a quick thing, some of you might be struggling with figuring out these factors. Just a good one to explain this. If that number is pretty small, what I like to do to find out what these numbers are is I will take my calculator, and I take 54, and I'll take a square root of it. Square root of 54. Give me that number there. Now I'm going to take that number, and I'm just going to either round it up or down, doesn't matter. And I start taking 54, and I start dividing it by, so I rounded down to 7. That didn't work, so I'm going to take 54, divide it by 6. I'm looking for a whole number, and there we go. And it gives you 6 and 9. Do those differ by 3? And they do. So it's kind of a quick way to kind of find this number here in the middle, if it's small. Like if it was like 30, I wouldn't do that. But if it's small, it's a pretty convenient way of doing that if you can't think of them. So it'll be n, that's going to be negative, so minus 9, and n plus 6. So then it gives me n to be 9 eventually, and n to be -6. Working on the left, number 28 would be 1 times 2 is 2. I want to get n squared, 3n, 2n, so that's 5n plus n 6. Subtract 2 from both sides. N squared plus 5n plus 4. Okay, so if this one is smaller than that one, and they differ by 1, then it's always going to be n plus 1 and that number 4. So n will equal -1 and -4. And the last one, x minus 5 times x plus 3 should be x squared plus, minus 2x minus 15 equals then negative 12. Add 12 to both sides. X squared minus 2x b minus 3 is equal to 0. So now I'm looking at x minus 3 and x plus 1 equals 0. And remember, the way to check to make sure I factored this right is to, once you've factored it, immediately FOIL it and see if you do get back to that. And I would. So x equals 3 and x equals negative 1. I'm going to continue the rest of these on this worksheet in a separate video. So I will let you know when that is done and where you can find that.